In this episode of Talking About Orcs, I'm going to just go over what I would like to see for clan abilities when the codex eventually gets released. So in all the codexes so far, each faction within the codex has an ability, whether it be like Raven Guard in the Space Marines or Beltan in Eldar or all the High Fleets in Tyranids. They all have their own unique ability, which you can then build your army around. So here's what I'd like to see on the Orcs, and I didn't go anything too fancy or too overpowered, but basically what I did was I looked at all the current ones from all the codexes that have come out so far, and a lot of these are almost direct copies of what's already available, and I think fit very well with the Orc clans, but with a little bit of Orky flavor. So the Goth clan, let's see, it's basically produces the biggest, meanest, greenest greenskins around. Goth boys wear black, white, and red, and their hides are usually crisscrossed with scars of countless brutal close combats. So for Goths, what I came up with, units with this trait may reroll to hits of 1 in close combat. I was originally going with just infantry, but I think all units with this, because walkers are usually portrayed as Goths, where the Dread Mob is portrayed as a Goth thing. So having all units reroll to hits of 1 in close combat, it would work. Another thing I would propose is that Goth Choppas gain -1 AP. I'm not sure if that's something that would be practical or too overpowered, but I think just rerolls to 1 in close combat, especially because then you got boys with the War Banner hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s. Amazing. That would be great. And again, it's nothing that is out of or too far out of what's available in the other books. Let's see. Evil Sun's clan buys the Orcs' obsessive love of speed. Clad in red and orange garb, often decorated with stylized flames, Evil Sun boys typically pile aboard faster vehicles they can go as to hurtle into battle. This clan is especially famed for their throngs of war bikes and their lunatic pilots who hurl into war with layering sun glyphs of their clan visible to all. So Evil Sons was the most fun, I think, and could easily have a lot of different abilities. But the one I came up with is for this. Evil Sons. Bikes, trucks, I should say war bikes, not bikers, trucks, war buggies, deathcopters, and characters on war bikes with this trait may use their current move characteristic instead of a D6 when advancing. But if they do roll a D6 on a 1, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. And any unit that disembarks from a truck automatically passes any morale test that same turn. So that would give us, I think, the perfect Evil Sons themed ability with a proper orky downside, but would also totally mitigate the current problems with bikes and trucks, which is that they're too slow. Because before, in the previous book, the previous edition, you could move those guys 24 inches that first turn, guaranteed, and then you could move again before assaulting. Move the truck, get the guys out. So you could move 36 inches before you had to actually roll an assault charge. In 8th edition, you can't go anywhere near that far by turn 2. So I think being able for a truck on its first turn to be able to go 28 inches would help mitigate that quite a bit. Because then you got the 28-inch moves that first turn, then you got to disembark 3 and you move 5. So now you're talking almost exactly the same. You got, actually it is the same, it's 36 inches. So you got 36 inches and then a roll charge roll. And if you got a war boss nearby, you can advance and then still charge. So, and I think bikes are 14-inch moves, so it'd be 28 inches that first turn. But again, and then of course the chance of taking some wounds is just their reckless abandonment of caring and just wanting to go as fast as possible. I think this would be a perfect Evil Sun's ability. Bad Moons. Bad Moons, again, it was a pretty easy one. And again, these abilities are basically taken just straight out of other books. Bad Moons. All assault and heavy weapons gain 6 inches to their range and an additional 1 AP. Simple. I mean, I think that's pretty much straight out of the Guard Codex. I think that ability. And I think it fits Bad Moons absolutely perfect. Because then we're talking 54-inch Ludas with -2 AP. Or, you know, rockets at -3 AP. At 34 inches. I mean, 30 inches. Great. Perfect for Bad Moons. They got the best war gear, so they have the best weapons. Death Skulls. But here we go with the Death Skulls. Was a little tougher. So reading through here, Death Skulls are the king of the looting. So we'll stick with that as its main theme. Death Skulls. Death Skull Ludas with this trait can reroll the hits of 1 in the shooting phase. They're the best Ludas. So do you go with Bad Moons for the extra AP, or do you go with the Death Skulls for that reroll to 1? It should be difficult to pick one of these. That's what the point is. It should be difficult for you to pick one if you want to build the quote-unquote most competitive army. So they're all going to have a good thing. I mean, it would be nice if you'd have them all, but you can't. But so yeah, it would be nice to have these decisions really quick, and I think really difficult. And I think the difference between the Death Skulls and Bad Moon Ludas is difficult enough. Okay, so in addition to that, all weapons that would cause a mortal wound on a hit of 1 instead do not. And boys and commando units may take a custom Mega Blaster in addition to rockets and big shooters. Because Death Skulls are also the king of plasma, so as far as orcs go, so getting rid of mitigating the mortal wound on hits of 1 for Death Skulls. So Death Skulls then could become a great shooty army because you got your custom mega cannons. You can take those without having to worry about mortal wounds. You can take your Ludas and also giving your commandos the custom mega blasters when they come in. Great way to play an army. Lots of high AP stuff. Of course, they're still hitting on orc. Well, except for the artillery pieces, but they're still a great threat, being able to put those custom Mega Blasters everywhere. So I think that's a perfect Death Skull one. Blood Axes, my clan, the Blood Axes. So this was hard to temper myself here because I love Blood Axes. So what I've decided to do here is, again, one of these 2 abilities is taken straight out of another codex. The other one is something that I came up with, which I think would be totally cool and fit in with the Blood Axe super sneaky theme. The Blood Axe clan is unique amongst all Orkdom for its members' belief that battles should be fought to an actual plan, and that, let's see, imperial camouflage patterns famed for their commandos, and while other orcs tend to see them as untrustworthy gits who are not sufficiently orky, there is no denying that their grasp of such strategic intricacies as concentration of fire, flank attacks, and not just running headlong into artillery fire have proven invaluable in many war boss. That's why I love Blood Axes. So, Blood Axes abilities. 1. Any unit with this trait is targeted by an enemy unit from more than 12 inches away. Subtract 1 from the hit rolls. You could restrict that to infantry if you wanted to, but I think that would be great. Perfect, kind of their sneakiness, hiding in ruins and stuff, being better at it. And here's the big one: commandos and boss Snickrot may use the cunning infiltrator rules during the movement phase, not at the end. Thus, they can advance prior to assaulting. Kings of the commandos. Commandos under a Blood Axe, if they could advance. I mean, it's not guaranteed. It could be a little. It's random, so it could be just 1 inch. But on average of 3 inches, that reduces your 9-inch charge to a 6-inch charge. While it's still not guaranteed, and then of course that will also get you in range of your burners if you can advance a couple inches. And I think for the Blood Axes, that fits great. This makes them way more sneaky than well, you don't even have to put Bosniak Rock because he says he's Blood Axe, right? So you probably don't even have to say that specifically. Bosniak Rock. Blood Axe, yeah. So he's already got the Blood Axe trait. So just commandos with this trait. And well, I guess you would have to. So commandos and Bosniak Rock with this trait. Yeah, I guess you would have to, because it wouldn't be all units with this trait. It would only be commandos. So. Yeah, so I think that would be great. I think that would be great. So the combination of having your units harder to hit because they're sneaky and having your commandos come in. Because then you can build an army around commandos. Sure, commandos are more expensive than boys. But if they come in, advance, and then can charge, yes, please. I would play 6 units of 15 commandos like that without a problem. And then lots of stuff sitting in the back because you got to have, half on the board. But I think making the Blood Axes sneaky and the commandos very, very good, it would be perfect for Blood Axes. So that just leaves the snake bites, and this was by far the toughest. And for this, I kind of went with a Savage Orc, kind of like the old fantasy Savage Orcs. And for that, I went with snake bites. All infantry units with this trait have a 6-up invulnerable save, and all units can re-roll failed morale tests. Just kind of give them that feral, the same savage feel that you had in the fantasy orcs. Savage orcs with their 6-up save, 6-up invul save. Yeah, so that's it. That's the 6 main clans. They might even come up with new ones for the Codex, just like they did with the High Fleets in the Codex book, and the Tyranid Codex, I mean. So the one thing that I have not decided yet, and that is if you want to restrict units to certain... so let's say Evil Sons can't take walkers or artillery pieces. Snake Bites can't take tech, basically tech units. I don't know if that's something that we could see, or even something I would support, because there's nothing else like that so far in any other books. There's no restrictions on units for a particular clan or a particular trait. So I don't think they're going to start with the orcs, but it's possible. I mean, if you go back to the old Cult of Speed in the Armageddon book, they did have such restrictions. So I don't know if that's going to carry over. I don't think it should, because nothing else has it. So that's kind of a long video, but again, this is just what I would like to see from the orc clans. And again, mostly based on things that are already out there. So I don't think anything here is too far out from what we've seen already. So I'm sure everyone has lots of comments and what they would like to see for the clans. Let me know what you want in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching this episode of Talking About Orcs. Please subscribe and hit the bell button for notifications for new Talking About Orcs videos every Wednesday, new battle reports every Friday, and hobby videos whenever I can. Thanks for watching.